Hey everyone, welcome back to another video here on the channel. You join me heading over to the gas station very quickly to fill up this 2025 Toyota Grand Highlander Hybrid Max Platinum, because today we're actually taking a small road trip up to the Chicago suburbs and back, which should push about a 350-mile round trip, road trip if you will. And I want to do a fuel economy test on this vehicle, see what our actual fuel MPG is, as well as just a highway interstate road trip review of this vehicle. Because if you'd actually followed along and been subscribed to the channel, you know I had a 2024 Grand Highlander Hybrid Max Platinum literally a year ago to like the week. It was very bizarre, but I'm actually the very first journalist media person to get this unit that I'm actually driving right now, less than 200 miles on the odometer. And today I'm really just excited to see how this vehicle does in a road trip type of scenario. So I'm gonna literally put like a half a gallon or a gallon in this thing, just make sure it's completely topped off, see what our estimated range is according to the information on the dash, and see, hopefully we can make it there and back no problem on a full tank. So looks like it is on the driver's side, so we're gonna whip around right here, fill it up, put whatever amount of gas in it, and hit the road on our way to Wheaton, Illinois. So just to give you guys a little bit more information about the exact vehicle that we're in, this is a 2025 Grand Highlander Hybrid Max Platinum, finished in the cement exterior with the black leather interior. This one does have a lot of additional accessories on it, including the crossbars, which you can see actually in the picture there, the side steps, and illuminated door sill plates, and a few other things, for a total MSRP of just over $63,000, including destination. So even from that of the standard Platinum MSRP to this one, there is a few $1,000s added on, some of which might not be necessary to you guys out there that might be considering this vehicle, and some of it actually might hurt the overall fuel economy given those crossbars up top. We'll have to see ultimately if we can get close to that 26 mpg. I believe this vehicle is rated at on the highway. It's like 27, 26. Really, it does about the same as it does on the interstate as it does in town. But the big benefit I like of the Hybrid Max is going to be that additional power output when you want your foot down into it, over that of the standard hybrid or just the base 2.4 liter turbo by itself without the additional electric motor and electrification. But it's been a full calendar year since I've had this vehicle, and despite my very positive thoughts for 2024, I know there were some hiccups along the way of this particular generation. It's only its second model year in production. I believe there was a recall at a point in time after I did my initial content with that one last year in the exact same trim level, just a different color combination. So check that content out if you guys are curious. But between then and now, I have had a lot of experience and exposure to other midsize three-row SUVs that this vehicle does compete with. And upon first impressions, you get a very airy feel. It's a very large cabin. The only complaint I have in terms of comfort here from the driver's seat is the fact that the center console protrudes pretty far inwards to, I guess, your leg, to the point where my knee is always resting up on the edge of the center console. And yes, it is slightly padded, but I would just like a little bit more space here for the right side of my leg to have a little bit more openness and spaciousness, especially when the rest of the cabin feels just like that. But great visibility, good size mirrors. We are missing some features even on a fully loaded one like this one, like no auto dimming side mirrors at all, no power folding third row seats or second row seats, no massaging seats. Basically kind of just the basics, if you will, for a more premium upscale mainstream brand. Heated and ventilated first, second row seats, captain chairs, suede inserts, tri-zone automatic climate control, the list goes on. I mean, it is well equipped. It's just missing a couple things that not only for road trips might be good, but also just daily driving with or without children or additional passengers. It is a little bit breezy today. I believe it's actually a northwesterly wind. So on our way there, it should be a slight tailwind, depending on the direction of I-88 that we're actually driving on at the moment. I think we have a crosswind at the moment, but mostly a tailwind or maybe little to no impact on the way there. We'll have to see on the way back what the wind direction and speed is doing. It's supposed to calm down overnight. but I'm hoping we can achieve very close to that actual EPA rating, if not beat it. We are picking up something that will take up a lot of the available cargo room in the back of this vehicle, which is why I'm taking it up there, because this will actually accommodate the items I am picking up, which a lot of other vehicles, even in this segment, may have a tough time doing, or just might not be able to do it at all. So I'll catch up with you guys here in a little bit as we get a little bit farther into this trip. So you joined me just under 1 hour into the journey. We've traveled right at 55 miles as of filming this clip, and according to the car, we're only seeing 21.3 mpg, and I did decide to go ahead and throw it into eco drive mode just a couple minutes after I filmed that last clip, just to see if we can, achieve the best possible MPG or fuel economy. All things considered, I don't think 21.2 mpg now is fantastic, especially compared to other vehicles I've taken on very similar routes and at very similar speeds that are fully gasoline internal combustion engine vehicles that we saw at least this figure, if not better. Granted, the wind direction and conditions might have been slightly different. So from that aspect, not amazing things to report thus far, but this is going to be a round trip, so I'll report all of that as we start heading back and ultimately do the full trip. But from a comfort standpoint, I just got off the phone with Zach Prado from Shooting Cars. We had a great conversation, and even at these speeds, I think he was able to understand me very easily. I was able to hear him through the car audio, no problems. And overall comfort hasn't been too bad. I have had to slowly turn the temperature down as I'm getting slightly too warm at roughly 70 or 71 degrees. I have it now at 69 degrees in the auto setting. That seems to be a reasonably comfortable temperature, and I do have the ventilated seats on just to keep my back and butt a little bit more chill and with air flowing. But really, I think outside of the wind conditions and the fact that the crossbars are mounted on this vehicle, it's a very reasonably quiet place to be. The stereos does a decent job of drowning out exterior noises, and if I was able to fully close the shade, that would certainly help with wind as well. But I do have the camera mounted over there for a little bit of additional footage. The Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 with the lane change assist works like that of every other system or every other vehicle I've had with their system. It's kind of annoying at times because it's a little bit slow to change lanes, but at the same time, it's kind of handy when you're kind of, I don't want to say not paying attention, but just a little bit zoned out here on the interstate. I have had the forward attention monitor system occasionally tell me to sit up because it might not be able to detect my eyes either from the sunglasses or just the angle that I'm sitting at. But yeah, this center console deal is my biggest comfort complaint given my knee rests on it. Other than that, it's a very spacious interior, tons of headroom. I have the seat all the way in its lowest position. And yeah, outside of the wind and the ambient conditions that we're facing, I think this is a very comfortable riding vehicle, one that I would easily take on a road trip, whether it be 3 hours like this one or 6-8 hours across the country, whatever it have be. I think this would be a fairly decent road tripper, especially if we are able to push 360 to 380 miles on a full tank of fuel. Alrighty guys, so we are fully loaded up, and I mean fully. This thing is using all of its available length and space in the cargo capacity area. These are some 8-foot boxes that we have managed to actually fit behind the passenger seat, basically straight. Now, could a passenger sit there comfortably? I'm not so sure about that, but they could in a pinch for sure. And this thing has a full 8-foot, almost straight behind the passenger seat in its most, forward position. So that is crazy. And these are some light fixtures, 8-foot light fixtures, Cree LSs. So very excited to put these up in the garage here over the coming months. But anyways, cargo secured, got a pretty good deal on them. Happy about that. I hope everything is intact and not broken or busted up. Guy was very nice. I appreciate it. He said if anything goes wrong, basically contact him and he'll either make a trip down and replace the broken fixtures, or I'm sure he could work out refunding some money since I did have some extras. So we make the dreadful drive back directly into the setting sun. Now I have to say, I'm very impressed as to how well the driver assistance is doing, considering the sun isn't quite at, you know, straight horizontal at the horizon, but it's not too far off. We'll find out here in the next half hour just how well it does. But as it is, there's so much glare on the road. The lane markings aren't even that clear, but this system is handling it very well, and there's not been any errors, messages, or nothing popping up on the dashboard regarding sun angle. I have got a couple driver attention monitoring messages in regards to like conditions not being met, but even those are brief, and everything's working. Lane centering, not a problem right now. So despite this being a pretty dreadful drive directly into the sun, the driver assistance is tackling it with ease, and we'll even do a lane change here. Wow. That is pretty darn impressive. So I apologize if the seat here on the passenger side is interfering with the view out the front, but that's unfortunate what we had to do to get these boxes inside. But still, that amazes me that all of this is fit, and you could even put more on top if you really wanted to. So Grand Highlander is grand practical. So you joined me here the next day after getting back. You see the boxes are still actually inside of this vehicle. Got back late, didn't necessarily feel like filming an outro or unloading anything outside. And today we're basically going to go over the exact fuel economy I observed yesterday, as well as wrap up, you know, give you guys my final thoughts and impressions on how this vehicle did on nearly a 300-mile road trip, you know, about 4.5 hours or about 5 hours of total drive time. So I drove 278.3 miles and put 13.29 gallons into it, which gives us a total actual MPG lower than that of the computer at 20.9 MPG calculated here. You can see from my phone. Now the computer said we got 22 MPG even, so this was over 1 MPG off from our actual observed fuel economy. And I have to say, that's actually slightly disappointing. Vehicle's rated at 26 MPG. Yes, we were going about 78 miles an hour until we got close to destination. Then there was a little bit of in-town driving. Even those speeds, I would have liked to have seen a slightly higher number than that. Now, again, to be granted, this one does have the crossbars up top, does have the side steps, and is a pretty chunky, sizable vehicle, not the most aerodynamic thing out there. So I guess 20.9. Take it for what it's worth. That was my real world observed fuel economy, driving at, you know, roughly 78 miles an hour with cruise control enabled. Driver assistance technologies, Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 works pretty good. The only thing I don't love about it is the lane change assist is kind of annoying. The forward attention monitor actually is not too naggy. It's about right in its tuning. It will tell you to pay attention if you're looking at the radio screen or looking out the window or distracted for too long, but it's not as quick to react as some other manufacturers, and I do appreciate that. Some other ones from General Motors, for example, like you can be taking your eyes off the screen for 2 or 3 seconds, and it'll pop up a message on the dash and start the process of shutting down cruise control and whatnot. I think that's tuned very well. The interior is a very comfortable, fairly quiet place to be at those speeds. The only issue I have with comfort is, again, here on the center console with my right knee resting up on the slightly padded soft touch materials there. Sound system's pretty good, kind of average, not the best out there. I mean, interior as a whole, I mean, the fit and finish, the build quality is very good. And we over doubled the mileage yesterday on this vehicle's odometer because, again, I was the first person in the media press fleet to get loaned this vehicle. And I think the only drivability concern or something that feels off with this particular vehicle is the brake pedal. I'm not exactly sure what it is about it, but there was one instance where I went to start the vehicle up from a cold start, if you will, had my foot on the brake, pressed the start button, and then the pressure or the vacuum totally went away and the pedal went nearly to the floor until the engine kicked on and I assume like repressurized the system. And it became, you know, slightly firmer like it should be, but I still don't feel like the pedal's as firm as it should be with this vehicle while driving. There's times where I have to keep pressing and pressing and pressing to the point where I'm like, the vehicle's not stopping as quickly as me depressing the pedal as it feels like it should be. I think maybe it just has something to do with the blend point from friction brakes from the regen, but it also doesn't feel right at times. So outside of that, I think, yeah, it was a very pleasant experience, one that I would totally do again and wouldn't hesitate to go longer distances with. Not the most comfortable seats, I will say. The leg extension would help tremendously, but it's certainly by far not the worst either. Kind of slightly above average, if you will. And yeah, I think the space inside is going to be a highlight of the Grand Highlander compared to other kind of mid-sized through SUVs currently on the market. But of course, there is going to be a little bit of a shakeup here very shortly with the upcoming Hyundai Palisade right around the corner, which will compete against the Grand Highlander directly. With the rumors saying there's going to be some sort of hybrid powertrain with that vehicle, which would compete directly against the one that I'm currently sitting in. So yeah, that's basically going to be it. I want to give a huge thanks to Toyota for sending this vehicle out for me to make some content with over the weekend. You know, of course, letting me haul some of my personal items back from the Chicagoland area. Very pleasant experience. Make sure you guys stay tuned and subscribe on the channel if you haven't already for additional content coming on this exact 2025 Grand Highlander Hybrid Max Platinum. Let me know what you guys think of the results of the MPG test and my thoughts on the driving impressions down in the comment section below. Again, 21 or 20.9 MPG, not the proudest thing in the world, especially with what I've observed in some other vehicles in this segment, gas and or hybrid, but certainly could have been worse too, given the wind conditions and everything like that. But let me know your thoughts on that down in the comment section below. As always, I appreciate continued support. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out additional content here on the channel. And with all that being said, I hope to see you guys in the next one.